Welcome to the AGC podcast. If you don't know us already, the Akuta Group of Companies is a British interior design collective with a portfolio of 6 international award-winning design brands. I'm your host, Tori, and in this pod we'll be revealing exactly what it takes to build a global design collective that works in some of the world's most exclusive postcodes. You'll meet the talented individuals behind each brand, as well as the many interesting people that have joined us along the way. Stay with us to hear more about how we got here, where we are going, and how we plan on being a force for good in this world of possibilities. So today on our pod, we have the fabulous Stella Gittins joining us so we can grill her on a topic that's really hot on everyone's mind. So Stella is AGC's co-founder, or one of, a company that's just celebrated its 10th birthday. Stella is currently, or at the end of, her house reno, which I have to caveat by saying you showed me some pics yesterday and it's looking fabulous, stylish, amazing, exactly what I'd expect from you. She is running a business and also applying for a B Corp, whilst also keeping her 4-year-old child alive, educated and entertained.
Correct.
So thank you for joining us, Stella.
Thank you for having me, Tori.
And actually, so to kick it off and before we get into the nitty gritty, this is something we're asking all our guests is what your favourite drink is. So we're sat here with a classy glass of
Nightimber.
It
was an easy choice.
Yeah. Well,
Britain's
cheers to that.
Sparkling wine.
It is delicious. And also these glasses, I love having that and having the bubbles in glasses like that.
You can't beat a bit of
Ideal.
fizz in a saucer.
At 11:30 in the morning.
Correct.
So Stella, tell us the topic that you want to focus on today.
Today's topic, Tori, will be sustainability.
Sustainability, ESG, B Corp, these are all the buzzwords that we're hearing about.
Buzzwords?
So is there something behind it or are they fleeting buzzwords?
Get in the recycling bin, Tori. How dare you? So I get your point. Sustainability is a word that's thrown around quite a lot and increasingly more so over the last few years. Mm-hmm. But we're seeing it become more and more part of a business's strategy and focus. We're actually a Walpole member who is a group of Britain's finest luxury brands, and we sit on their round tables where we discuss sustainability in the future. We've aligned our sustainability manifestos with them, and you can see what great work these big prestigious brands are doing on the subject, and that's filtering down, and it's actually really becoming something that businesses are now living and breathing. I think 10 years ago it was just a case of getting a recycling bin because people didn't know what else to do.
Was sort of it, wasn't it?
But now there's just so much more guidance and so much more support, so people are really starting to make some inroads.
What sort of members can we expect to see on Walpole or part of Walpole?
Wow.
That's some tough question there,
prestigious
actually.
Ones. Chanel.
Claridge's.
Bentley. Mulberry.
Oh, everyone's at it.
Akuta Group of Companies.
Yes, the next name.
Yeah.
So what is sustainability then? So obviously we're part of Walpole. What other aspects are we looking at in terms of sustainability?
So sustainability for me is simply a constant journey of regeneration, because I don't believe that any brand or company is actually sustainable, apart from maybe Patagonia. They are absolutely brilliant, really inspiring. But if you're saying that you're sustainable, that's you claiming that you're doing everything you possibly can be doing. There's no room for improvement, and you want to sustain your best efforts.
Yeah.
So
which is a pretty hard place to be.
Yeah,
right?
completely.
That's quite impossible to reach
completely.
That stage.
And there's more to saving the planet, being good for people and in planet than just sustainability. Yeah. And that's, I suppose, where ESG as a whole comes into play.
So ESG is obviously a word that everyone's talking about, all the big companies as well.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little rundown on it, or a little bit more info on what it is?
Yeah, so ESG, it's your environment, your social and your governance, and it's your bones of the business. If you're doing it correctly, your systems and your processes form around this.
Okay.
And it's a holistic approach to sustainability and more. And if you're doing it right, you're really going to shape your culture within your business, your reputation, and really make an impact in the market.
And probably win more business because of that.
Well, yeah, and be happier, be prouder of the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And do you want a fun fact, Tori?
Go on. Hit me up.
I recently learned at a conference that the roles that are being taken up in ESG, 80% are women in organisations.
Really?
So that does quite good for the S in ESG.
That's a very promising fact to hear, isn't it?
It is.
I feel like we could probably go down a rabbit hole of reasons why it's women, or what the future is with the roles as well, but maybe we save that for another pod to go down there. So saving the planet just seems like a lot of work for a business. So how have you found it as a company, and for your individual roles, how it's impacted sort of day-to-day workload?
Good question. So if I think about what my role should be running an interior design company, it probably wouldn't spring to mind that it's sustainability. And I'm sure that if I told people what I do for a living, they wouldn't think sustainability. It does, I think it is quite a disruptive subject, and it can be quite disruptive for your business because you do need to put so much focus into it. Yeah. But disruption isn't a bad thing. It's not always negative, and it creates that opportunity. If you think about other disruptors, COVID, huge
biggie
one. Now let's also think about how much damage that did to people's lives. Like it was truly horrendous for everyone all over the planet. For us as a company, it really brought out the teamwork. It showed how resilient we were, and it then also gave us the opportunity to focus that time on ESG. So some positive come from that disruption. And also what I thought was quite fascinating, and I don't know if you can remember this or if you cast your mind back, in the early weeks of us going into that first lockdown, the stars in the sky were so bright, where all the planes had disappeared and the canals in Venice were all really super clear. And that really highlighted to me what impact you can make in just a short space of time. If everyone did just a little bit each, then the world can heal itself.
I remember hearing all about that. But also it's probably things like even coffee cups, the less coffee cups that would have been used would have been
very true,
made such an impact. But then on the other hand, all the masks, all the disposable masks and PPE that we didn't have before. But then it's probably such a small impact compared to what we stopped doing. But I think also COVID just showed us how quickly we can all adapt, so that, you know, whatever changes we need to make, we can all make that change. It's just making sure that people are willing to do it, because I think unless there's not a requirement to do it, people probably won't want to, for the sake of just being good to the planet. Or maybe most people will sort of think that as well.
Completely agree.
Why is it more important than ever now to be sustainable then, or to show we're being sustainable?
Well, first of all, I think actually sustainability is more important to us all personally, and I could really see that through the younger generations coming into our business and the questions they were asking us, and people that we were interviewing had these, you know, there was a value that was really front of their mind. And that's also highlighted a generational shift in purchasing habits. I think it was Forbes in 2021 said that millennials and Generation Z are most likely to purchase based on values and principles of who they're purchasing from.
Okay.
And it's millennials now who have the purse strings. The baby boomers have now bought their houses, bought their cars, bought all their luxury goods, and they're spending all their money apparently on these luxury holidays.
Lucky things.
I know. And it's the millennials that are now
being more considerate
and also the ones that are buying.
Yeah.
Their homes.
And I guess they're thinking probably more about the future of their kids and the planet. And I've actually had quite a few friends that have said they might not have babies because of the future that they'll be bringing them up in, which is quite worrying to hear, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it does make you stop and think, actually, is this a world that you want to be bringing people into, or that you feel positive about in the future? So if we can be making the impact towards a more positive future, then we're doing our bit, I guess.
Agreed.
So that covers the E. What about the S in ESG, the social side?
So that's social. So that's your diversity, equality and inclusion. It's your how you're helping the community. What are you doing for charity? It surrounds that aspect. It's about giving everyone an equal playing field, a voice, an opportunity. There's so much work in our industry to be done, and especially from like a DEI perspective. We're partnering with United in Design actually to, for them to give us like guidance and for us to be able to try and make an impact where we can. We've had some apprentices come on board that we've had through that network, looking to take on another one very shortly. We've been doing some mentoring, and I think we just need to do a bit more about education in schools and universities and meeting new people.
Just a quick question for the listeners, just so everyone knows what DEI is. Can you just quickly explain what that means?
That's diversity, equality and inclusion.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how are you trying to tackle it we as a company then, I guess is the next question.
Well, for a start, we have a team that's devoted to it. People that feel passionately about the subject in the business have come together. We meet regularly and we have our pledge with 4 different pillars on it. And the one that we're focusing on actually definitely is the educational aspect.
Yeah.
And it's a huge priority for us, the educational part.
Yeah. I'd just like to say there that I'm involved on the sustainability internals team, so I can vouch for how much work is involved, but how exciting it is to sort of see what we can do as a company.
Absolutely.
And how we can make even small changes, but we're doing something that has an impact.
Definitely.
Okay, so then the G side of things, the governance, what is covered under that side of things?
So that's about us being very transparent as a company and ensuring that we're being ethical. We're willing to review all of our structures, the legalities of the business, really, really strip it back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the reasons why we chose to apply for our B Corp certification, because they provide this great framework for a business. And again, it's like a holistic approach. It covers all of ESG. And it's for businesses that have consideration to their social and environmental. I'm going to read this, sorry. It's consideration to their social and environmental impact as they do their financial returns.
Interesting.
And there is a score versus a set of standards.
Okay.
There's 1,000 B Corp companies in the UK currently.
Doesn't sound like many, does it?
We plan to be 1,001.
Yes, we will be, hopefully.
And that is what we can hope for.
B Corp.
And
fingers crossed.
With that, it's a journey.
Yeah.
You get your set points and it gives you a framework to keep improving. And I think that's where people can really struggle, because they're like, this is a massive topic.
Yeah.
ESG. Where do I start? Where do I go? What can I focus my time on, which will make the biggest impact rather than...
How long have we been working on B Corp side of things?
A year and a half.
So it's a long time in the making.
Yeah.
It's not just a quick fix.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think they have a separate side for startups, don't they? I think if you're a new company but you can't prove that you've been doing sort of all the regular annual processes, I think they have a different initiative in place for all those sorts of companies. So it's available to everyone that wants to be a part of it.
It is.
Great. So I think that's our roundup of just a quick intro into sustainability, ESG, B Corp, everything around those words. Is there anything else you sort of wanted to touch on, Stella?
Wow, I think it's a subject that you could keep talking about, but
we just need a little simple intro for people.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'd love to know what you, as our listeners, think about the sort of sustainability aspect of your companies, or perhaps the company you work for, and whether it's important to you as well. But for now, thank you, Stella. Thank you for suggesting Nye Timber as well.
Can we have that?
And actually, I think this is along the sustainable route, isn't it? Because it's locally grown in Sussex, West Sussex.
Great British brand.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the end. Thanks to all our listeners. Feel free to send us any questions you'd like to hear on the next podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials, and hopefully you'll tune in next time.